Here is a ship. If you live in Europe, you need it and the seafarers who sail on it, because almost everything we need in Europe comes by sea. But there's much more to it than that. Maritime trade in Europe, directly and indirectly, brings just under 145 billion euros to the EU's GDP, adding 41 billion euros in taxes to the European Union's coffers and supporting employment to the tune of 2.3 million jobs. A lot of that maritime trade and employment is in imports. 90% of everything we need in Europe comes by sea, borne in ships, crewed by seafarers. So we're importing big time, but exporting our sea trade professions. More and more, EU or foreign registered vessels importing and exporting EU goods are home to non-European seafarers. But why? Cutting costs, that's why. If you flag out a ship, putting it under a foreign flag of convenience, seafarers on board the ship are subject to the laws of the state whose flag the ship is flying. Laws that go easy on paying conditions, lack support for collective bargaining, jurisdiction and control, and for operating standards and environmental protection. Laws that go easy on anything, in fact, that will hit profitability. But does this matter, really? I mean, we're getting all our stuff, aren't we? Well, we all like being treated fairly, don't we? We get fed up when we're not, right? So why should it be different for our seafarers? In 5 years, 25,000 European ratings have been forced out of the industry by unfair competition and replaced by fewer, cheaper seafarers from low-cost countries outside Europe. And figures are not better for European officers. Their number is falling as sharply as for European ratings. And that's not to mention the ageing workforce problem. The UK alone will lose around 4,000 officers in the next 10 years. Shipping is out of sight and therefore out of mind. Substandard shipping, through national flags, flags of convenience or second registers, is an indisputable reality, as is the globalised nature of the seafarer labour market, clearing the way for social abuse and forms of labour exploitation in EU waters. And what is the EU doing to turn this situation around? Almost nothing. The EU may have busied itself in the past trying to set rules for the curvature and length of bananas and cucumbers. Now it should turn that kind of energy to tackling real problems in our maritime industry. Unfair competition and widespread social dumping in shipping might mean lower cost, but they also mean unsafe manning levels, causing long hours leading to fatigue, putting safety and health at risk, worsened by bad living and working conditions on board, and reliance on third country ships and seafarers for our goods. But it's even worse than that. By letting this happen, we threaten our security. In conflicts, where will we find the seafarers we need and the EU-flagged ships on which we can rely? Our civil society. Anonymous ownership gives crime its best chance. We hazard our environment. Flag states have weak environmental laws. We threaten our union. Flagged out ships are not subject to EU flag state law. And we weaken our maritime cluster. Vital skills and experience ashore and afloat. Everyone likes fairness and justice in life. In the end, That's all we in the European Transport Workers Federation are asking for our seafarers. For them and for our European Union. We need to flag back our own European nations. We need the fairness of the best and safest employment conditions, protecting EU standards and only supporting companies with EU subsidies if they employ and train European nationals and work to reduce their environmental footprint. We need the fairness that will improve work and career chances of European seafarers by training and education and deliver better protection against scapegoating when things go wrong. Fairness so that European seafarers have a right to social security and pensions. And we need to make our industry a better place for women. And fairness above all in the whole supply chain, not just in the goods our seafarers carry, but in their working lives, secure employment, good living and working conditions, with rewards for those companies that support the concept of fair transport for fair trade all around the world. If we do this, everyone wins. Better standards, better shipping, better trade for all. But it's not just down to them, it's down to us too. Let's not just lie alongside. Let's get underway and make the good stuff happen. Seafarers, use our manifesto to get your MP, MEP or government minister to support European seafaring. Policymakers, sign up to our manifesto and put it into action. Young people, find out about great careers at sea and in the maritime sector. Everyone, to solve problems and defend your social and labour rights, join a trade union. Let's make the maritime sector a generator of wealth and EU-based jobs. One for all for one, and everybody wins. Find the manifesto and contact us through the ETF and ITF websites.